A long time ago, in the land of ancient Greece, there lived a beautiful young goddess named Persephone. She was the daughter of Demeter, the kind and loving goddess of the harvest, who made sure that trees grew tall, flowers bloomed, and crops ripened under the warm sun. Persephone loved to dance in meadows and pick wildflowers. Wherever she walked, grass grew greener and the air smelled sweeter. Her laughter made birds sing and rivers sparkle. She was so full of life and joy that even the gods would stop to admire her beauty. But deep beneath the earth, in the hidden world of shadows and silver rivers, lived Hades, the god of the underworld. He ruled a quiet realm where the souls of the dead rested peacefully. Hades was not cruel, but he was lonely. The underworld was beautiful in its own way, filled with glowing crystals, whispering trees, and dark gardens. But it lacked joy and sunlight. One day, he emerged from the darkness to see the world above, and there he found her, Persephone, gathering wildflowers in a golden meadow, her laughter echoing like music through the hills. Hades watched, transfixed. In her, he saw what he had never known: light, life, and joy. And in that moment, something rare stirred in him: love. He returned again and again, watching her from afar, until his desire could no longer be restrained. One day, as Persephone wandered through a meadow filled with blooming flowers, she spotted a strange and beautiful blossom, a glowing golden narcissus. When she leaned down to pick it, the ground gently opened with a rumble. Out rode Hades in a chariot pulled by black horses, their hooves as silent as shadows. Hades saw Persephone and was struck by her light. He didn't want to frighten her, but in his longing, he invited her to come with him to the underworld. Before she could even speak, the earth closed over them, and they vanished beneath the soil. Above, Demeter waited and waited for her daughter to return. Days turned into weeks, and the world began to change. Without Persephone's laughter, the flowers wilted. The crops stopped growing. The earth grew cold and quiet. Demeter searched everywhere, calling for her daughter. But no one had seen where Persephone had gone. Meanwhile, in the underworld, Hades tried to make Persephone feel at home. He gave her a throne beside his and showed her his dark gardens and silver lakes. He was quiet and kind in his own way, but Persephone missed her mother, the sunlight, and the fields above. Over time, she came to see that Hades was not cruel, only lonely. He did not demand love, but waited in quiet hope. She had seen him before, watching her in the garden, listening to her songs, admiring her from afar. He played music that soothed her heart, offered her dresses woven from crystals and shadows, and filled the halls with fragrant blooms that could grow only in the land of the dead. Slowly, gently, she came to understand him. And though she never planned to, Persephone could not help but fall in love. Far above, the other gods began to worry. Without Persephone, the world could not bloom. So Zeus, the king of the gods and Persephone's father, sent a message to Hades: "You must let Persephone return." Hades agreed, but with a heavy heart. Before she left, he offered her a gift: a few ruby-red seeds from a pomegranate. Persephone, curious and touched by his gesture, ate 6 tiny seeds. Her fate was sealed, for every seed eaten in the land of the dead binds one to its realm. Still, Hades let her go, though his heart ached with the loss. Yet the fates whispered in Zeus's ear. Persephone had tasted the food of the underworld. She could not return fully. A balance must be struck. And so a bargain was made. Each year, Persephone would spend 6 months in the world above with her mother, and 6 months in the underworld beside Hades. When she rose, the world would bloom with her joy, and when she descended, the earth would grow quiet and barren with her absence. Thus were born the seasons. Spring and summer belonged to Demeter and Persephone, days of warmth, growth, and green. Autumn and winter were the time of descent, when Persephone walked the halls of the dead, not as a prisoner, but as queen. For Persephone had changed. She was no longer just the flower maiden. She had tasted longing, known sorrow, and found strength. She ruled beside Hades not as his captive, but as his equal. In the underworld, she brought light to the dark places and helped souls find peace. And Hades came to love her not only for her beauty, but for her wisdom and will. And though her mother still wept at every farewell, she came to understand. Her daughter was no longer a child of the fields, but a woman of both light and darkness. And so, every year, when the snow begins to melt and flowers begin to bloom, the world knows Persephone has returned.